All right, let's do some feet stuff. Without further ado, enough yakking. Let's do some feet. If you have a squishy ball handy, grab it up and we'll do our little, this one where we work down our foot. And so squishy ball, tennis ball, bouncy ball, any of those would work real good to go down from your big toe knuckle or just south of your big toe knuckle. And then you're working your way down to your heel. So I take about 5 little mashies. And then I do the middle of my foot, second and third metatarsal. Mushy and mushy and mushy and mushy and mushy. Oh, let me put myself on speaker. I keep forgetting to do this now. Yep. And I record, so then I'm the only one you can see. And now I'm going pinky toe lane. Same foot, mushy. And I'm mushing maybe half of my body weight. If this feels comfortable and you've got a soft enough ball, you could lean all of your weight onto your foot, but don't do anything that hurts. If it feels like, stop, move the ball. And then you can do a little circle, a little windshield washer, a little front and back, side to side, whatever feels good, zigzagging. If you found a spot that felt especially tight or sensitive, you can go back to that spot. Yep. And then either take a rest break and stand still, or you could take a little walk and just notice how your feet move. Is there any more mobility or less mobility in the foot that you did? Do you notice any difference? Maybe, maybe not. And then we'll do foot number 2. But I do like to take a little break and check before I do second side. Now I'm mushing down that big toe lane. So I give a little bit of pressure on my foot, back off a little bit, move my foot down till it gets my little balls under my heel. And I go middle lane. So we did our foot workshop on Saturday. That was super fun. We did a little soak and then some foot massaging. And maybe we'll do a little massaging at the end tonight if we got time, since this is our kind of like relaxation class, or what this has turned into here lately. And now I'm going down this pinky toe lane. Mushy and mushy and mushy. Oh yeah, now I got a squicky spot. I'm gonna go back to my little squicky spot. So I can go back through something that feels tender or sensitive. I wouldn't do this for an hour on that same spot, because you can irritate that tissue, especially if you've got a harder ball, like a lacrosse ball or a golf ball. So easy does it. A little bit is good. Too much isn't always too much of a good thing, right? Like ice cream for breakfast, maybe not the best thing. Take a little walk. Okay, I'm gonna put my ball away so I don't step on it. And then we'll come to the ground and do baby bear. I wonder where Bridget is tonight. Okay, we got our easy, lazy. Easy, lazy. Let this be real floppy. Floppy, floppy, floppy. Hold, please. I'm having a wardrobe malfunction. All right, so notice what you notice doing your little rocky. And then we'll maybe play with this again at the end and see if we've got any more mobility or loosey-goosey. And then how's about a little cat and cow? Angry cat. If this doesn't feel good for whatever reason to be on hands and knees tonight, you can always stand and do your cat and cow. You could grab a hold behind your legs, or you could come stand and grab a doorway. This is a nice little standing variation. Yeah, if this feels good on hands and knees. Angry cat, round your back. Inhale, stretch your chest. Now, if you want to play with this cat and cow, and you're in this position, you might try bringing your right knee to your nose. So I'm pulling my knee underneath me. And then you could take your right foot to the ceiling. So I'm adding a little flexion and extension of my leg, my hip, drawing my knee to my nose. And then think about touching the bottom of your foot to the back of your head, maybe, if that feels like a comfortable range. Yeah, so whatever feels good for today. Could be tiny little flex and extend. And once you've done a handful on side number one, you can switch and do side number two. Round your back. Curl your forehead towards your knee. And then inhale, stretch, maybe lifting your heel towards the ceiling or towards the back of your head. Yeah, angry cat. And then we got our bird dog. This is your organizational move. Or if Heather's watching this, she can do her swimming on the floor. She likes that one better than bird dog. So again, if your wrists or knees need a break, you can lay flat and do your big X and lift opposite arm and leg. If this feels comfortable for tonight, stretching. And I really am thinking more about the length than the leg height. So it's not that I'm trying to get my leg way up in the air. I'm trying to think, stretch both sides of my neck and stretch both sides of my waist and the back of my knee. You can picture those 4 points staying put, shoulders and hips, when you do that transition left to right. Yeah, because it's a stabilization we're working. Nice, you guys. And then this is my favorite thoracic rotation. If you like this one tonight, you're still on hands and knees. I've just kicked one leg out to the side. I'm going to take that same leg. So if it's my left arm and left leg out to the side, left arm, you can reach to the ceiling and then big twist. If you don't like this one, or if you're done being on hands and knees, you could also lay on your side. Remember this one that we've done, laying on your side? Yeah. I like this one because I get a little bonus adductor stretch. Ooh, big twist and big reach. You can even bend your standing elbow if that feels good. And then you can switch whenever you're ready and do side number two. Well, I went on a little 24-hour adventure. I went out to Carson Hot Springs yesterday. Their website says we put the rust in rustic, and they weren't lying. It's very like 1920s sanitarium vibe. Like I did the thing where you get in the mineral, like a clawfoot tub with the stinky mineral water, and then they leave you in there to soak for like half an hour, and they come get you and they wrap you like a mummy in all these sheets and wool blankets, and like you just take a nap. Okay, now what else? Let's do our cobra. Come on down. Once you've done a handful of those guys each side, come on down on your tummy. Take a big deep breath. And then let's do easy does it. Roll your marble away. Lift your head, lift your chest, and then see if you can get longer as you come down. Anyway, I was cracking up, just like I had 3 separate interactions with 3 employees where I was given like different information about what time the pool closed, what was going on, like where I was supposed to go. I was like, am I here? What am I? Confusion, I'd say, was the common theme. Confusion and misinformation. And Eric's cracking up. I came back this morning. I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on. He's like, hello, it's an old logging town. He's like, customer service is not their priority. I was like, oh, right. Anyway, aside from that, I got my soak in. A couple of soaks. I got this morning into the soak before I came home. All right, now check this out. If you want to keep doing Cobra, that would be a lovely variation for tonight. If this feels easy and you're like, I want a little bit of harder version, you could rest your hands or catch your hands behind your head, push your head into your hands, lift your elbows, and lift your chest off the ground. So it might be really tiny. Only do this if this feels like a good thing for your back. Lift your elbows. You might even lift your legs so you could float up to where just your belly and your pelvis is on the ground. So this to me feels a lot harder because I don't have my hands here to support. Yeah, so if that feels like a good back extension for tonight to play with, lift and then lower. One more of these guys, either Cobra, regular Cobra, or that other little back extension. Nice, and then come on down and rest. Let's take a little rest here. Yeah. Okay, so I'm keeping this class pretty mellow. Rebecca, we've been doing like a mellow Monday night, a lot of stretching and mobility work, mostly on the floor, as a matter of fact. But I will give you a couple of options for variations as we hum along this month. And you can always choose the path of least resistance, path of least effort, if that's what floats your boat tonight. Let's do real slow-mo version of our hammy curl. So I'm going to let my left knee bend, drag my left heel towards my bum, and then see if you can lift your thigh just a smidge. So you got a little space under your kneecap. Keep that space and extend your leg long. So let's stay on this left leg and we'll do 5, just about that speed. Slow-mo, heel towards your bum. So I feel my back of my leg working. I'll lift my leg just a little bit off the ground. Keep a little space under my kneecap. Stretch my leg out long. Yeah, so slow-mo, contracting the hammy, heel towards your bum. Slow-mo, stretch your leg. And as you're doing this, really notice both sides of your waist. Can you keep your waist long? We got 2 to go. Bend, slow-mo. Notice if your pelvis wants to twist or hike up, you can move just your leg and really just your knee. And then we're going to switcheroo. Now I got leg number 2. Bend your knee. Hold this position. Get a little bit of space under your kneecap. So I'm going to do that by engaging this back here, the back of my leg. I'm going to keep that engaged and slowly stretch my leg out long. So I got a little space under my kneecap. Back of my leg works to drag my heel towards my bum. Slowly dragging my leg back out. Go slow. And then notice what else is moving. Hopefully nothing else moving, just knee bending. So notice if your hip wants to hike, if your pelvis is twisting, we got 2 to go. So this should feel challenging. If this feels easy, unmute yourself and ask me for help. So it's like work for my hamstring and a lot of work here for my tummy to keep me from bobbing and weaving. Okay, that's our 5. Come on down and rest. Relax. If this feels good to do a little rock side to side, you can rock. And then let's come on up and we'll do our boat. This is one of your 5. So we've got a band. I've got a band handy because we're going to do some foot stuff. But, we could use it for our boat if you so desired. So start this grabbing a hold of your legs. Scoop your belly, round your back. Maybe I'll show the non-band version first. Maybe we lift a leg, lift the other leg. If you don't need to hold on to your legs and you can take your arms off, here's where your band could come in handy. You could pull apart on your band. And you can do this with heels on the floor. That could be a nice variation. Heels up. You could stretch your legs long. So I'm just holding this position for about 5 breaths. Find a spot that feels like work for your tummy, not pain in your back. So that might be back here, hanging onto your legs. Feet on the ground. Let's take 3 more big deep breaths. Something here in this boat adjacent. Yeah. Either pulling on your band or hanging onto the backs of your legs. Big inhale. One more big deep breath. Big exhale. Lower your heels. Now, if this feels nice to have a little stretch here for your back, yeah, you can just round over. Okay, we got another little kneeling thing. So pad your knee if you need to, or you can always come out of this, or you can do crescent lunge instead of King Arthur. So I'm going to show, I'm not going to fall over. I'm going to show King Arthur. Left leg down, right leg in front. And I'm just about at 90-90, meaning knee straight underneath me, this knee right above my ankle, if that feels comfortable. And then notice if your hips are level. So again, just like we were doing on the floor, can you lengthen both sides of your waist? Maybe same arm as back leg comes up, maybe. So I'm mushing down into this back knee. I'm picturing if I could squeeze a little ball between my inner thighs. So there's some work happening inner thighs, buttoning up my vest and trying to resist hiking or twisting. Take 2 more big deep breaths here in your low lunge. Again, if you need a break from being on your knee, you can always take a little rest break. If this feels like a fun thing to do, we've been experimenting with our little lunge. You might be able to lean more forward, and you might scoot your foot forward or back to do this. You could lean back. You might even sit back on your heel. So just experiment with this little lean. Could be a tiny little lean. Could be that you come all the way back. My knee is cracking and popping. So don't do anything that hurts your knees or your ankles. You could be more upright and just do a tiny little forward and back. So experiment with a couple of these guys. And then whatever my front leg was, I'm going to kick that one out to the side now. If you need to take a break, do take a break. You can do this whole thing from standing. I'm going to do big side bend. So if you didn't do the leg that I did, just remember what your knee you're on so that you've done both sides of everything and we're done. So big stretch. If that feels comfortable to lean way over. Yeah. If you need a break from your knee, you can come and stand and do this, or you could sit on the floor and do this big side bend up and over. This is kind of like getting me in a position to do like a side plank eventually. I could come into from there. Now let's go towards the leg if this feels okay. Big side bend towards your leg that's kicked out to the side. More of these guys. Side bend. And then let's come down and rest however you like. You could lay on your tummy again. You can lay on your back. Whatever feels like a nice rest position. So I'm calling that whole piece side number 1 because we were in that same leg position for most of it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. We'll do side number 2. Okay, so now I'm going to put my other leg in front. So if you did side number 1, now we're on leg number 2. Knee under my hip. This knee just about 90 and hips level. I can get them totally level, yeah. And then maybe a little back bend, maybe. And then if this feels good to do, leaning forward, leaning back could be tiny little lean forward and back. It could be that you move your feet and knee apart and lean way forward and way back. Notice if this hip and hamstring has any more mobility. If you're able to sit all the way back on your heel or close to the foot on your heel, you could try that. Again, only doing stuff that feels good, not stuff that feels owie. And then what was my front foot? I just kicked my foot out to the side. And then here's this big side bend. Or again, if you're sick of being on your knee, you can come up and stand or sit to do this big reach. Big side bend. And then you can do big reach up and over. Well, I got in my walk this afternoon. Eric thought I was going to get rained on when I left the house. He's like, it's going to start raining. And I ended up walking and talking to a girlfriend for like 45 minutes. And then the second I got home, it started raining. I had perfectly timed my walk. Little did I know. Lucky for me. Okay, we did our side bend both ways. Yeah. Now what? Okay, plank of your choice. Should we do a timed plank tonight? Thumb up for timed plank. No, Sonia shake. Rebecca says yes. Okay, I'll give us a minute and then you can decide. If you don't want to do plank, you do another stretch.
I'm really
what, Sonia?
Jane.
What'd you say? She is not feeling the plank. That's okay. You don't got to do plank. All right, I'm going to give us a minute.
I'm feeling really tired from skiing and daylight savings time change.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you can always go back to your baby bear. Or you can do whatever other stretch. If you want to do plank like I'm doing, I got straight arms, straight legs. You've also got your knee down version or your forearm version. See, that's funny, Sonia. I was assuming you were the one tonight that was wanting to do more. I'm like, she's going to be bored with all of our little stretches. No.
I went skiing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh my goodness. That's a serious 3-day workout. Okay, we're in the home stretch. If you're doing a minute with me, we got 15 seconds. Keep breathing. If you don't want to do plank, you can do your other favorite exercise. Last 2. Last 1. There's your minute. Okay, come down and rest. Now, your choice of either sticking your tushy in the air and stretching your arms out, your puppy dog, I call this one, that might feel nice, or downward facing dog. One of those will feel good to do. You could wiggle a little bit. You could pedal out your feet if you're up here. You could slide your arms to the left and right if you're doing your puppy dog. Okay, I said we were mostly going to be on the floor, which is true. But we got to do at least one Pilates push-up. If Bridget was here, I'd have us do all 3. But we got to do at least one. She loves this exercise. Roll yourself up to standing and really do milk this roll up and roll down. So I'm really thinking like pull my belly in, trying to look underneath my belly button. At some point, you'll need to bend your knees. Walk yourself out. Back to that plank position we were just in. If you're not doing a floor version tonight, you can roll down, roll up, come to the wall. 5 little push-ups. or holding your planks. I'm doing little baby push-ups. Last two. Last one. Pushing yourself on back. Through your dog, rolling up through your spine. Okay, if you are in the mood for a crescent lunge tonight, this could be your more upright lunge. If you're like, nope, that King Arthur was fine, go back to that version where your knee is on the ground. And just look down and know which foot you have in front right now. And so we'll hang out in some lunge variation, whatever is suitable for you tonight. Could be this crescent, could be if you're wanting to work your legs and hips a little more, you could lower your hips down by bending this knee. If you go, no, this is plenty right here, just hang out right here. And then we got our half moon. If you're needing a little balance assistance tonight, come to the wall or put your hand down on the couch or a coffee table or a piece of furniture. But this one, I'm going to make like my little starfish shape. So I turned myself, I was facing the front of the mat for my crescent, and I turned to the side so that I'm making my little piece of toast in the toaster, I call this one, and I'll show what it looks like from the side. See how I'm trying to stack everything? So I'm a little flat piece of toast. Yeah. Also a good time to think about that length, both sides of your waist getting longer. Yeah, nice. We're just experimenting with our balance. Easy does it. One more big deep breath. Exhale, come on down and rest. Take a little rest break. If you're standing, you could do lazy twist. If you're on the floor, you could do that other twist where you lay on your side. Yeah, whatever feels like a nice rest break. You've seen the dino, right? Sonia, the little baby that they put in on a snowboard with her little dinosaur. I think it was him. He's got another, I can't remember if it's a little boy or girl, but she got a sibling. And I think it was this guy that filmed the older one's like 4 and the baby's like 2. And the baby just losing it. Like he's just sobbing and angry and hungry. And he says in the comments, he's like, okay, let's do second round of your roll down to your push-up. Roll through your spine. Because at first I was like, why is he posting this video of this poor suffering baby? And he talks about in the comments, he's like, okay, here's your 5 push-ups if you're doing these. He's like, yeah, I don't want to post stuff that embarrasses my kids, but I just wanted to show that it's not all sunshine and roses. Like sometimes they just lose it. And he's like, the only way to get him off the mountain was to ski him down the mountain. So he was crying and upset and tired because the second we got him in the car, we gave him some food, we warmed up his feet. I was like, oh, little buddy. He was not having it that day. I thought, good, because that little 4-year-old can't always be so happy and positive. She's got to have her temper tantrums at some point, right? Okay, we did side number 2, crescent lunge.
Yeah, yesterday with all the wind blowing and the snow, maybe 7 or 8-year-old called Mother Nature having a temper tantrum. That was really funny.
Yep. Yep, it happens. You could play with this one. You could bend and straighten your back knee. You could stay pretty upright where you've just got a tiny bend in your knee. To get low, you will need to take your foot back. So if you're going to get lower, do make sure you extend your leg back to whatever depth feels like a good lunge option for tonight. And then you can come on up and we'll try our balance on this side. This is your half moon. You might just start with your little teeter-totter, testing the waters. You might launch right into stretching your arms, stretching your legs. Or you can come back to the wall. This is a really good one to get on the wall because then I can tell in my shoulders, hips, heel, head, all on the wall. Or piece of toast, as I call it. Yeah. Couple more big deep breaths. Stretch your arms. Stretch your legs, lengthen both sides of your waist. Ooh, okay, we did a variation on our boat. Our hammy curl was kind of like our single leg kick. We did our crescent. We did we get all of our 5? Let me double check. Oh, okay, that was all I had for strength. And then we're going to stretch after this. Anybody want to do any of those moves again, any of our strength moves before we move on to stretching? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, we're doing it.
The stretch where we put the roller on the floor and we lie on it so that we can get, yeah.
I was going to take us through that fish tonight, which is that open sesame across your chest. Yeah. So we'll do that one for sure. I've got it on my list. As long as I see it on my list. I skipped something on Saturday that was right on my list. I was like, wait a minute. I think it was half moon. I have to actually read it on the list. Okay, but first, hammy stretch. You could do this one standing or on your back. I'm going to show with the strap around my foot, but you could for sure do standing and put your foot on the couch. Now, maybe we do smush your leg into the ground, into the carpet or the mat, like you're trying to hold it down in a windstorm. Take a big deep breath. Exhale, easy float your leg up. Smush your leg into the ground. Easy float your leg up. And a smushy. And a floaty. And then the other way to do this one that's nice is bend and straighten your knee. So I'm letting my knee come in towards my armpit or shoulder. Easy does it. Or you could just come out and hold. So bring your leg up as high as you can, and then take your leg down so it's that side of your knee. So if this is 90, I'm going to bring him down to, what is that, 75 or 80 maybe? And then notice, can you really keep your pelvis level in a little mouse hole under your back? Now, why am I harping on that tonight? Any ideas? If I'm lower than 90 or if my pelvis is in neutral, I'm stretching my hamstring a little more effectively. Once I come up here and see how I've kind of tucked my butt under, that's not necessarily bad, but it's more of a back stretch than a hammy stretch. Yes, I want to find that sweet spot where I could still slide a finger or two under my low back, if that's what I'm trying to stretch, is the back of my leg. And then I like this one a lot, where you bring your leg out to the side. And again, if you can keep your torso pretty still, you're going to be targeting more lateral leg when you come across and inner thigh when you go out to the side. We'll do a couple of these where you don't let your torso or hips move. So see if you can monitor that and keep your torso. Oh yeah, this one I feel my lower leg quite a bit when I come across. Now there's nothing wrong with letting your hip go. So if I let my leg come all the way to the floor, again, this becomes more of a spine twist. Same thing when I come this way. If I let my foot go, see on my shirt, that diagonal line, yeah. So if that's what you want is a spine twist, then do let your leg come all the way across. Whatever feels good tonight. And then we can do a big circle if this feels nice. Leg can come down and around and up. And down and around to the other side. And then take a little rest. If this feels nice to just compare left and right sides, you could have bent knees or straight legs. And this might feel good to just stop and pause for a breath or two. Notice the side you just stretched and the side you didn't yet stretch. Yeah, they might feel different. And then we'll do side number 2. You can strap your foot And you can do these however you like. I'll give you a couple of options. The one I like a lot is engaging the back of my leg, where I smush my leg into the floor. And then I release my leg and let it float up. And smush into the floor. Release and let it float up. And smush. Release. And then the other version is bend and straighten your knee. You know what, Gary? I was just thinking about that, about Rachel's classes. I haven't looked at the website since Saturday when the mask thing was lifted. So I don't know if she's still doing mask. I could call her and ask her. I'm assuming it's still mask, need to wear a mask, you know? Okay, now what else did we do? We did leg to the side and leg across. And then you could do circle or a U shape, leg coming down and around. And then if this feels good, to do a spine twist, to let your leg come across your body. You might feel this up in your hip or your back. And then you can let your leg come out to the side. And again, if I let my leg come all the way to the floor, that probably means my hip has rolled off. So there's nothing wrong with doing that. It just is stretching more into your back and hip than specifically the back of your leg. Okay, we did some of those on each leg. Yeah. Seated twist. Let's do that one. Sitting up nice and tall. And then whatever feels good as far as this knee and leg. You could hug your leg close. You could bring it across. Yeah, if that doesn't feel so hot, you could take your foot a little further out if that feels not so good to have your leg in that close. And then I'm going to have this hand be a little kickstand. Yep, and you can always do more or less of what I'm showing, or you can do something entirely different when we get to these stretches. If you want to do your own thing, you certainly may. You could bring this back hand all the way around to your waist. There is a version of this where you bring your hands under your knee. I can't do that today, but you could use the band as a little buddy. See, I could reach through and grab the band and start to inchworm my hands closer together. Maybe I'll show this on the other side. It's hard to tell what the heck I'm doing. Or just hugging your knee. That might be a nice variation. And then come on back to center. Shake out your legs. We'll do side number 2. So maybe foot close, maybe foot a little further out. Here is the thing I was talking about with the band. I'll show you on this side. I just laid it across my bottom leg. I can huggy and sit up tall. That's a nice variation. I can turn and look over my back shoulder. Oh yeah, that feels good. What I'm trying to get to twist mostly is this thoracic spine, this stubborn thoracic spine, this middle of my back. So it's not really so much my low back that's twisting, but I'm trying to get my chest and shoulder to reach around behind me. And then here's the band thing I was talking about. So you can either reach around with this hand and grab your waist or grab your band. So you see how my fingers here eventually you can bring your fingers to touch. Is the theory anyway. So y'all, yesterday was the official day, because it was Friday the 13th, that my back surgery anniversary 7 years ago. It was Friday, March 13th, 2015. Oh my goodness. I think I'm going to write a blog post this week about it because I got this discount on this case of wine from something Eric bought. This coupon came, and they're not usually like an actual coupon, and this one was like half off a case or something. I was like, all right, I'll get a case of wine. I'll give them away at these networking things. Okay, quad stretch. Anyway, it showed up. And I almost went downstairs and got Eric because I was like, I don't know if I can pick this up. And then I grabbed a hold of it. I got real low. I tightened my core and I picked that sucker up and carried it upstairs and put it on a countertop in the kitchen. And I was so proud of myself. Okay, this is your quad stretch. So you can grab a hold of your foot and take your foot towards your bum if this feels like a good thing. So this was a big, big deal. Now, I've also been doing my strength work. I'm probably averaging 3 times a week, sometimes 2 times a week. And I also am very lucky and very fortunate that my back situation worked out the way it did. But considering before my surgery, I could not even stand up for as long as 30 seconds. What a huge, huge difference. And then this one, you could start to pull your heel towards your bum, maybe bringing your knee back behind you if that feels like a good thing. And then you can switcheroo whenever you're ready. Side number 2. Easy does it. Heel towards your bum or whatever stretch feels good for the front of your leg, front of your hip. And then what else do we have before we do our fish? I don't have it on our list, but I feel like we should do pigeon. I've been doing 90-90, but if you want to do that one, you can, or pigeon's a little different where you stretch your leg all the way back. You might even prop up your front hip. So make sure this is really comfy on your knee. It shouldn't hurt your knee. Or you can do the one where you lay on your back if you like this one better, where you cross your ankle over. Yeah, so one of those is going to feel good tonight for your stretching out the back of your butt. And then whenever you're ready, you can switch to your other leg. Put your other leg on top if you're on your back. Switch to other leg in front if you're doing your pigeon or your 90-90. Easy does it, hip stretch. So none of this should hurt your knee or your back. If it does, come out of this a little bit. Back off until you find a spot that feels good. And it might feel good to pull your knee towards you or lean over your leg if you're doing pigeon. or you could push your knee away from you or lift your chest. A couple more big deep breaths. And then Miss Sonia had requested, I call this one fish. It's a variation on your fish, which is actually a yoga pose. And the way to do it as a strength move would be to sort of prop yourself up on your elbows and lift your chest and tighten your back muscles. So that way it's a little more work. The time we're going to do tonight is this variation. Bolster usually works pretty good. Roller could work. Anything that's going to give you a little speed bump here for your upper back. And then depending on your neck situation tonight. So this might feel really good to just let your head rest on the floor. So my head is on the floor, my butt is on the floor, and my chest is a little lifted. Now, do you hear how I can talk in this position? This isn't straining my neck. It doesn't feel like my chin is way up like this. If that doesn't feel comfortable for you, bring something under your head so that your chest is a little bit higher than your tushy, but your head is also supported. So it shouldn't feel like your neck is sticking way up and it's uncomfortable. So find a comfortable position, or you can just lay flat if none of these feel comfortable. And then you got your choice of bent knees, or this might feel nice to extend your legs out long. And then whatever feels good for your arms, you could take your arms overhead, you could have your arms down by your side or out to the side. I think I like this overhead position tonight. So I'm in a little bit of extension, thoracic extension, meaning my chest is open sesame to the ceiling. And then if this feels like a nice spot to hang out, you could continue breathing in this position. If at any point you start to get uncomfortable or that doesn't feel like a good rest position anymore, come on out of there and find a comfortable rest position. And then let's play with our breathing. So see if you can picture your right chest, right shoulder blade, the sort of right upper quadrant of your torso, and direct your breath to your right shoulder, right pec, right rib cage, right neck. And you might even be able to sort of puff up that area as you breathe in. You might think of sending breath into your right armpit, right jaw, even this whole right upper quadrant, breathing into your right shoulder. Exhale, totally relax your shoulder, your chest, all the way out to your arms and fingers. We'll do that a couple more breaths into this upper right zone, I'm calling it. As you exhale, relax your shoulder, relax your chest. And then see if you can send your breath now to your upper left. Collarbones, shoulder blade, left armpit, left rib cage. Picture that area puffing up with each inhale, and then picture it softening and relaxing with each exhale. Directing your breath and your focus to your left upper corner, if you will. Shoulder, chest, one more. Nice. Big exhale, relax your chest, relax your shoulders. And then see if you can picture your left low belly, your left butt cheek, your left half of your pelvis, your left waist. Send your breath down to that left lower quadrant of your torso. So that might mean that your pelvis moves a little or your waist might shorten. That's totally legit to let there be some movement in that area. You might just be sending your breath or your intention to that area, noticing what you notice, anything jumping out at you in your hip, your belly, when you send your breath to your left hip, left belly. One more big inhale. You can feel your belly pooch up. Exhale, totally relax that hip, belly, low back. And then we'll focus on right lower quadrant, right hip, right belly, right waist, right butt, right side of your pelvic floor. Ooh, that's weird to think about. You got a left and right half. Inhaling into your lower right corner. Exhaling, softening. 2 more big deep breaths. And then noticing all 4 of those spots. Does one spot feel heavier, lighter? Do they feel about the same? Just noticing. Noticing your arms and legs. Notice how your head came to rest on the floor. And then if our theme for this month is spring, putting a little spring in your step, spring flowers. If it is raining at your house now, like it is at mine, you picture that you are a little spring bud and you're just starting to have a little bit of color peeking through your bud. Your bud is unfolding. And so what does that mean for you this week? Springing forth. And what do you think would be a really sweet, supportive, loving thing that you could do for yourself this week as we prepare to spring, prepare to open our little tulip to the world? Something you could feed or nurture now so that in a few weeks or a few months, this part of you can blossom. Maybe that's setting this intention to sit and listen to your breath. You could do this a couple times a week or 1 minute each morning, just listening to your breath. Maybe it's taking some time for yourself to do something fun or something relaxing. Maybe it's going to bed early. Maybe taking something off your to-do list. What would help you blossom this spring or this week? Maybe it's drinking more water. Take another big deep breath. Big exhale. I am connected to all life. I am spirit, light, energy, vibration, color, and love. I am so much more than I give myself credit for. I am connected with every person on the planet and with all of life. I see myself healthy, whole, and vibrant. I hold this vision for myself and for all of us. For this is a time of healing and making whole. I am one with all life. And you are welcome to continue resting here as long as you like. You're ready to wiggle, you can wiggle your fingers and your toes, maybe roll your head, maybe do second round of baby bear if you didn't. How do you feel?
Good.
I feel great. Super.
Feel good.
Thanks for
Where
the
does
stretch.
where does the term "notice what you notice" come from?
Ann C. McCraney, trademark 2022.
Is it? I've heard other people use it, so I'm just wondering.
You
if
know,
it's some-
Gary, for me, what it came from was I started taking Feldenkrais and Alexander type classes, and I take a weekly somatics class. And all of these, bye, Rebecca, thank you for coming to class. All of these are part of these connecting your brain and your body. And so until I know where my arm is in space, if I told you to bend your elbow and you can't even picture your arm, we got to start with the super basics of where is my arm, right? So a lot of my people are up here. They are permanently in their head. And if I said, raise your right arm without demonstrating it, they would go, they have to see me do the exercise because they,
Okay.
so a lot of this work is called awareness through movement or different types of things to describe it. But a lot of it is just paying attention. And I was talking about my back surgery earlier. That was so hard for me because my body felt like it was broken and I was in a ton of pain.
Right.
And so this work has been part of my, what I call my therapy or my rehab, because now if something hurts, I go, huh, that's interesting. When before I'd be like, oh shit, that's that thing in my back and it's gonna, and I would get all wound up, right? Because if you've had an injury or an owie and it's a chronic thing, it's like traumatic. It's like terrifying because you don't want to be in that position again. And so now I can come in and be like, everybody be cool. Nobody freak out. We're noticing some pain. Let's move a little. Let's do something. Let's rest. So this idea of being aware of your body, it helps you with, so think of like dancing, right? If you took a dance class and you didn't know where your frame was and you were mashed against your partner or you were too far from your partner. So there's this sweet spot. And to do that, you have to have this kinesthetic sense of where am I in space and what am I noticing? What am I feeling? And not to be too philosophical, but when it comes to like emotional stuff, we don't want to feel the feelings, Gary, especially if they're anything beyond happiness and love. Anything that's sad or scary, we freak out and run away. So I'm
still working on the first two.
If you can figure out those,
Yes.
you'll be 90% of the way there.
Right.
All right.
Thanks, Paul.
It felt very nice after a busy few days to do some stretching.
Good. See this stretchy class, this mellow one. I keep thinking, oh, they're not going to like this. And then every time everybody's like, this was great.
No, it's like yoga on Monday because it's like it allows you to be kind of like a weekend warrior and then be like, okay,
and then come do all your stretchies.
Yeah. Though I do my stretching like afterwards because I've realized as I've gotten older that I really need to. But having like this dedicated, like, okay, begin the work week. Okay, let's remember that stretching not just from like your weekend warriorness, but also from your desk job. Because,
yes,
we lean over.
Thank you. See you next week.
Thanks,
Bye.
Sam.
Thank you.